That is major. Stephen A., everybody has a threshold for disrespect, and we just heard Adam Schefter that he doesn't think he'll finish his career in Dallas. Your reaction to that?
I agree with him. Um, Listen, Jerry could change his mind, get him signed, and obviously he can franchise him or what have you. But I think that Jerry is looking at the money he's already doled out on Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, a couple of other players. You're spending over damn near $200 million on three players, and Micah Parsons will be a fourth. You can't conduct business in the NFL that way. You still got to fill out a roster. And I think that right now he is contemplating looking at Micah Parsons and seeing what value you can get in return for his services. You might be able to pick up a couple of first-round picks. You might be able to pick up a couple of players. I mean, this could be a mega deal if you're Jerry Jones, and you're probably looking at it that way. Plus, he seems a bit salty towards Micah Parsons. Again, I have no problem with any kind of that thinking. My issue with Jerry Jones, which I will say to him whenever it is that I see him, is that how dare you not talk to his agent? You know, the kid is 25 years old at the time that you're having these conversations. He turned 26 in May, if I remember correctly. Okay? You know, stop acting like talking with him is a negotiation. It's not. That is incredibly and completely unfair. Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys franchise is worth $12.8 billion, according to Forbes. They have elevated by $9.4 billion since last winning a Super Bowl on January 28, 1996. They are the most prestigious franchise, arguably, in all of sports. And Jerry Jones is at the head of all of it as a marketing and business genius. Why are you acting like you're playing fair when you were negotiating with a 26-year-old football player about his on-field performance and what that level of compensation should look like? That is incredibly unfair. I think the NFL Players Association needs to get involved. I think the NFL needs to get involved, because I think that's flagrant taking advantage, that's flagrant abuse of a player. You can't do that. He has a representative. His name is David Mulugeta. That brother is considered one of the best agents in the world, and you haven't been on the phone with him? That is inexcusable. There is no defense for that. And that is what this issue is. And that's why I think that Micah Parsons could end up being gone, because of the stance that Jerry Jones has taken. And at this point, I don't think Micah Parsons would even mind. He wants to go where he wants to go, but I don't think that he's fixated on remaining in Dallas. After all, he did ask to be traded, and I think he means it.
Dak Prescott, the Cowboys' quarterback, had always been known for leadership. He was the steady hand, the calming presence in chaos. But behind the scenes, Dak was also carrying the weight of years of playoff failures, endless criticism, and questions about whether he was the problem. So, when he saw Parsons standing on the sideline, refusing to go all out in camp, frustration mounted. To Dak, every rep mattered. To Dak, this was about setting a tone for the season. And in Dak's eyes, Parsons was letting the team down. It started small. During a 7-on-7 drill, Dak dropped back, hit CeeDee Lamb on a slant, and jogged back to the huddle. But as he passed Parsons, who was standing with arms crossed, Dak muttered under his breath, just loud enough, "Man, you can cash your checks later. Right now, we need you out here." Parsons froze. Slowly, he turned his head toward Dak, eyes narrowed. "What'd you just say?" Dak didn't back down. "You heard me. We're all grinding out here. You think anybody cares about your agent or Jerry's games? We're trying to win a damn Super Bowl." The field went silent. Players stopped mid-drill, helmets half on, eyes darting between their two leaders. Micah stepped forward, jaw clenched. "You don't get it, Dak. You've been paid. You've had your bag. But me? I'm out here destroying my body every week, carrying this defense, while Jerry's out there clowning around trying to negotiate without an agent. This isn't just business, it's respect." Dak shot back, his voice rising. "Respect? You think sitting out, half practicing, showing up with a bad attitude is how you get respect? That's quitting on us. That's quitting on me. We need you, and you're making this
Not
about
all
you.
Contract holdouts are the same, and the media tends to always take the player side in this. I get that with Terry McLaurin of Washington. I'm on his side. I'm not on Micah Parsons. First of all, I was on team trade Micah Parsons a year ago. The Cowboys are a mile from the Philadelphia Eagles roster composition. They need 4 good players. I would have gotten a couple of second-round picks, maybe a first and a fourth, whatever. I like Micah. He's a good player. But I'm not making him the highest-paid defensive end. He's not Myles Garrett. He's not Aiden Hutchinson. He's not Max Crosby. He's not T.J. Watt. He's not Nick Bosa. I like him a lot.
If the Cowboys were to let Micah walk, what would that mean for them moving forward?
What that means to me is that you aren't trying to compete for a championship right now. If the Dallas Cowboys decide that this is the time that they want to stand on business, then the Dallas Cowboys and their executives are derelict in their duties. Your job is to draft, develop, and retain the best players. Well, you got Micah Parsons as a slot in the draft where he was available to you and shouldn't have been. So you made the right decision. You drafted the players. And then you developed him. He started as an off-the-ball linebacker. He moved on the ball to become a rush in. And now he's one of the most prolific in the history of the game. And so now you get to take the next step and do the right thing, which is retain Micah Parsons and find a way to build around him. Now, here is where you messed up. You messed up because you had that opportunity last year. And if you do that last year when Nick Bosa is being paid around $34 million a year, you don't have to get to this point and think to yourself, we're going to have to pay upwards of $42, upwards of $43 million a year. So you have backed yourself into this corner. A corner, by the way, that you backed yourself into with Ezekiel Elliott. A corner you backed yourself into with CeeDee Lamb. A corner you backed yourself into with Dak Prescott. So why now, today, with this player, do you take this stand that because the agent is involved or because you can't come up with the deal that you think the player should take, you are now not even having conversations about it?
Training camp was supposed to be about chemistry, about preparation, about unity heading into a season where expectations were sky high. But for the Dallas Cowboys, things were far from perfect. In the middle of drills, something snapped. And it wasn't a hamstring. It wasn't a cleat on the turf. It was the fragile bond between 2 of the Cowboys' biggest stars, Micah Parsons and Dak Prescott. This is the story of how contract frustrations, franchise arrogance, and boiling tempers led to an explosive confrontation that could change the Dallas Cowboys forever.
It's certainly not enough to trade him. And the idea that just because the front office made the mistake of not paying him early, which I think we all agree is a mistake, means now they should make a mistake even worse by moving on from him, accumulating draft picks, in hopes that they might get a player like Micah Parsons. That's nonsense. They should keep him. They should pay him. And then you can figure it out with the rest. It's not an untenable cap situation to pay him and restructure Dak Prescott. I've looked at it. It is entirely possible for this team to do this.
Yeah, they can pay him, but then what? But then how does your team get markedly better from what it was last year? They got 25 free agents, y'all.
Time out.
They got
This ain't unsportsmanlike.
Trading him?
This ain't unsportsmanlike. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. This ain't unsportsmanlike. This is First Take. We have this segment because you brought up culture. You brought up the podcast. You brought up the locker room. Now, we can go back and forth in terms of the numbers. We playing a numbers game. All right, he's one player. You're already paying CeeDee Lamb and Dak. You add Micah Parsons to that. It's problematic. I got that part. You could go either way with what you said or Mina saying you can restructure his deal or what have you. I'm not debating that. The reason this is a segment, First Take, the reason this is a segment is because you brought up culture. You brought up the podcast. You brought up the locker room and the comment about Mike McCarthy. That is the reason we are talking about this subject. If it was just a matter of numbers, we wouldn't have been addressing this. We did this days ago. We did this because you went on the air and you brought up culture and blamed him, which to me is crazy. That's just crazy. You don't blame Micah Parsons for culture in Dallas?
Well,
hell
Stephen
no.
A., if I'm going to
Hell
pay a
no.
guy $40 million a year, he's going to have to be a part of the
for not
culture
producing.
being a good thing, not something that my organization and the rest of my locker room has to overcome.
So
And
I
at
can pay a
this
dude
point,
40.
it's
I
a
can pay a
debate.
dude 40. I can pay a dude 60 that can't get it done, but I'm gonna have a problem playing a brother 30 to 40 who does.
And Micah does deserve a big contract. Slater got one. I'm not denying that. But I think left tackle is harder to find and much more valuable than edge rusher. Left tackle after quarterback to me is the number 2 position by a long shot in the league. Go look at the Niners and Kyle Shanahan when Trent Williams doesn't play. Go look at the Chargers when Rashawn Slater doesn't play. There are no great backup left tackles. There's all sorts of guys that can rush the passer in the NFL. The college gives you 6 a year, guys that can play, and you'll get them in mid-rounds. There are no great left tackles in the 5th round historically. The top 30 left tackles of all time, 28, I think, are first-round picks. And so Micah has, and by the way, right now, Micah's contract going into this year, without a new contract, would make him the 5th highest edge rusher cap hit. That's a totally appropriate contract. Totally appropriate. That's not Terry McLaurin.
By now, teammates were forming a loose circle. CeeDee Lamb shook his head. Zach Martin, who had been through his own contract disputes, muttered to a coach, "This is about to get ugly." Micah Parsons' chest was heaving, his voice booming across the field. "Nah, don't twist this. You want to talk about quitting? How about the times you've come up small in the playoffs? How about when the defense carried you and you couldn't deliver? Don't come at me about winning when you can't even do your job when it matters most." Gasps rippled through the players. This wasn't just a spat anymore. This was personal. Dak's face went red. He stepped closer, helmet still in his hand, knuckles tight around the face mask. "Say that again." Micah leaned in, nearly nose to nose. "I said what I said. This team hides behind your smile, but when it matters, we know who really shows up. It ain't you." Coaches sprinted in. One grabbed Parsons by the arm, pulling him back, while others shoved a hand against Dak's chest. "Enough, both of you," Cooches barked. "This isn't about egos. This isn't about contracts. You two are supposed to be the damn leaders of this team, and right now, you're tearing it apart in front of everybody." But the damage was done. The practice ended in an awkward haze. Parsons stormed off toward the locker room, helmet swinging violently in his hand. Dak stayed on the field, throwing a few more passes with tight, angry spirals before eventually walking off to a chorus of whispers.
The Dallas Cowboys are for entertainment purposes only. Before the Cowboys come on the TV, before we see their games, when they show the NFL branding, they need to have a warning label come on the TV screen. It says, "This is for entertainment purposes only." Shout out to my boy Q Myers from ESPN Radio. He knows what I'm talking about. It's entertainment purposes only. They are playing a different game than the other 31 teams in the National Football League because they are in the attention-seeking business, not the Lombardi-chasing business. Yep. That needs to be clear. That needs to be obvious. I feel bad for Micah and the guys in that Cowboys locker room because they are living the real-life version of the Truman Show. You know that movie with Jim Carrey when he's thinking he's going about his day-to-day life? Everybody in it is a paid actor, and it's all done so we can all watch and laugh at them. That's what the Dallas Cowboys are. Jerry Jones is monetizing his football team in an attention-based economy. He said it earlier this week. He loves to stir the pot. That controversy is good stuff. Yeah, it's good stuff when it comes to driving revenue, but that controversy is counter to creating the culture that you need to contend for a championship. And I should know because I won one of them things right after I left the Dallas Cowboys. I know what it is. So him And how they're handling the Micah Parsons contract negotiations is a microcosm of the business model that the Dallas Cowboys have employed, and that's why they have the longest conference championship game drought in the NFC currently.
Makes no sense, guys. But you know this.
There's box office and there's Oscars. Jerry, been a while, huh? You ain't been to the show, you wouldn't know.
Ooh.
Wouldn't been to the show, you wouldn't know.
Uh-oh.
Haven't been to the show, so you wouldn't know what it is to win.
I don't need to add.
I feel like we could
And I love the Cowboys.
Mm.
I love the Cowboys because I really love them. This is the way I feel. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about the movie.
And I wanted to get back to the movie because you didn't bring the.
Speaking of the movie,
up in the
same
movie.
thing.
Highest to lowest. You didn't bring it up.
And what does it say down the bottom of the movie?
What?
Or does it say it on the one sheet?
What does it say?
All money ain't good money, Jerry.
Say it again.
All money ain't good money, Jerry.
One time.
August 15th, we open Friday.
Woo, Lord.
All money ain't good money. Grew up in Mount Vernon, uptown.
Money earning.
The Red Raiders, we were the Red Raiders in the 60s. I was the running back, and we used to shift. Like the Cowboys.
Landry.
So I said, oh, the Cowboys play like us.
Right.
I've been a Cowboy fan since the 60s. He's making it hard for me.
By the next morning, the
Not to be a
media
fan,
already
because
had
I'm still
wind
a
of the
Cowboy fan. I'm
altercation.
still gonna have the star on the side of the
Reporters
hat.
hounded the Cowboys' PR staff,
But he ain't
trying
thinking
to
about
confirm details.
He's thinking about his
Inside the facility, the tension was unbearable. Some players sided with Dak. He's right, one veteran was overheard saying. We can't win if our stars are worried about contracts instead of football. Others defended Parsons. Dak's been paid for years. Easy for him to say, forget the money. Micah deserves his bag. Even Jerry Jones was forced to address it, brushing it off with a trademark smirk. Look, those boys are competitors. Sometimes competitors get heated. I'm not concerned. We're going to work this out. But insiders weren't buying it. Jordan Schultz, the NFL insider who first broke the story of Parsons' discontent, tweeted, "This isn't just a heated exchange. This is the unraveling of the Cowboys' locker room. Dak and Micah are supposed to be cornerstones. If they can't see eye to eye, Dallas is in serious trouble." The timing couldn't be worse. Just as Parsons' trade request went public, insiders revealed the Packers were circling. Rashawn Gary and 3 draft picks were on the table. For Dallas, that meant a chance to reset, rebuild, and move forward. But for Dak Prescott, it meant losing the one player who had carried the defense, the one player who could flip games single-handedly. And for Micah Parsons, it meant freedom, a chance to escape Jerry Jones's negotiating circus and play for an organization ready to respect his value. Micah Parsons walked onto the practice field with his helmet dangling from his hand, pads strapped but his demeanor icy. He wasn't participating in full drills. He hadn't been for days. His contract dispute with the Cowboys had gone public, and while owner Jerry Jones tried to spin the narrative, the truth was unavoidable. Parsons was fed up. The whispers were everywhere. Rumors of a trade to the Green Bay Packers in exchange for Rashawn Gary and a mountain of draft picks. Cowboys fans were torn. Could they really afford to lose the heartbeat of their defense? Could they stomach Jerry Jones fumbling away another generational talent? But what truly set the stage for the explosion was not Jerry Jones himself. It was the resentment building between the locker room leaders. This wasn't just a fight at training camp. It was a symbol of everything wrong with the Dallas Cowboys. A stubborn owner, unwilling to adapt. A frustrated superstar, desperate for recognition. And a quarterback trying to hold everything together, only to watch it unravel in front of him. If Parsons is dealt to the Packers, history will remember this fight as the moment the Cowboys broke. the moment pride, ego, and poor leadership destroyed a championship window. But if Jerry Jones somehow patches this up, if Parsons gets his extension and Dak regains his trust, maybe, just maybe, the Cowboys can still salvage their season. For now, the Cowboys training camp isn't about schemes or drills or game plans. It's about survival. It's about whether Dak Prescott and Micah Parsons can ever trust each other again. Because one thing is certain, the next time they share the same field, whether in Dallas or somewhere else, the whole NFL will be watching. And the Cowboys? They'll either rise from this chaos or collapse under the weight of it.